last time. Hello, friends, and welcome to the final NFL Friday here on the Tone 25. Now, the NFL show's not going away. We just don't know what our new day and time is. We're gonna have to, sit down and come up with that because, as you know, starting next Friday night and going forward, Friday night will no longer be my night. It'll be Michael Fletcher's night. Good old MF, because he's going to be running the coveted Friday night spot starting next week and going forward when Friday Night SmackDown premieres on Fox next week. Don't worry. We're going to have you all covered as far as, the other shows and everything else. We'll run it all down at the end of the show. So for the final time, it will be NFL Friday or anything strictly sports related. So it's an end of an era, but, we're going to keep on going. And one other thing before we get started, and that is we want to take a moment to apologize to all of you wonderful viewers out there, because 24 hours ago, we tried to do our College Football Thursday show, but unfortunately, due to very, very bad technical difficulties beyond my control, as well as Michael Bullock's control, we had no choice but to cancel the show. But thankfully, all is restored. Every order is restored. Everything's back up and running as it should be. So praise the Lord, we didn't have to cancel again tonight. So I was getting very worried, but thank goodness everything worked out. So we're back and we're ready to go. So it's NFL Friday, final time. Gentlemen, let's go out with a bang on this show here tonight. I am your host, Anthony Florio, in case you didn't know. I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We got Michael Bullock here as well. So, gentlemen, without any further ado, let's get started with Week 4. A week ago, it was Fox who was blessed with all the great games, but this time, it's our turn to get blessed with the good games. CBS, although Fox did steal a game from us that I'm very pissed about because it would have been one of our top games of the week. So, that damn cross-flexing. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's start it off with one of the intriguing matchups on our side of the ledger. We got the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, on the mothership of CBS. Spiro Dedes, Adam Archuleta, AJ Ross will have the call. Atlanta opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. The series history between these two is tied 7-7. They last met in 2015 in Nashville, and Atlanta came away with the win 10-7. And their last meeting in Atlanta was 2011. Atlanta won that 23-17. Tennessee last won in Atlanta back in 2003. A very wild 38-31 shootout in the old Georgia Dome. So without any further ado, let's get into the Titans and the Falcons to kick off Week 4. What to watch for? How the Falcons receivers perform against the Tennessee secondary will be key. If Jacksonville's Gardner Minshew was able to connect downfield on the Titans, surely Matt Ryan can do the same. Keep an eye on Calvin Ridley, who vowed not to let a hip injury hold him back. He had only one target last week, and offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter wants to get him more involved. The bold prediction, outside linebacker Harold Landry, remember that name, Harold Landry, will have 2 sacks. He has been relatively quiet, having posted only 1 sack through 3 games, but he'll get home against the Falcons with Ryan waiting for the deep routes to develop with his receivers. Stat to know, and here's one for MF. Julio Jones has a receiving touchdown in 7 consecutive games, the longest active streak in the NFL. A.J. Green had 9 in 2012, Antonio Brown, 8 last year, and Wes Welker, 8 in 2012 and 13, are the only players with 8-game streaks over the past 10 seasons. What to know for fantasy? Since Week 13 of last season, Derrick Henry has run for 11 touchdowns. No other player has more than 7. And over that stretch, only Carolina's Christian McCaffrey has more fantasy points among running backs. The betting nugget, Atlanta has failed to cover in 12 consecutive games against AFC opponents, including the Week 3 loss against Indianapolis. The Falcons are 5-21 against the spread in their past 26 games against AFC opponents, including 4-14 against the spread under Dan Quinn. Atlanta is the FPI favorite at 54%. Close game, but I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons to win it. I say Atlanta wins. Final score for me, I'm going to go 28-20. Give me Atlanta in this one. So nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Tennessee Titans, Atlanta Falcons, one of the many intriguing matchups on our side of the ledger here in Week 4.
Yes, absolutely, Anthony. No doubt about it. This is going to be an interesting matchup, to say the very least. Atlanta getting a lucky incident and everything else, beating Philadelphia not too long ago, and now you kind of have to wonder about Atlanta. Are they offensively better? Are they going to be ready defensively? Yes, Ridley did get an injury not too long ago, and it looks like he will be all right. But the thing is that at the end of the day, what is Tennessee going to do too? I mean, Tennessee had an opportunity last week. A lot of people really thought that, they had a great chance to win their game last week, as, they were going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were going up against Minshew and the boys, and they actually laid an egg. I think none of us saw that coming. I think a lot of people didn't think that Jacksonville was going to be irrelevant or anything like that. And when they played that game, they shocked a lot of people. So a lot of fans were stunned. And now we're going to be talking about Jacksonville in a different light coming into this week's game. And now this is kind of this is a huge moment. This is a show me game for you got to prove yourself now more than ever before. Can you deliver in the clutch? Can you deliver when it comes to these big moments? And now more than ever, when you talk about Atlanta, I mean, well, I mean, for Tennessee, you just got to wait and see what happens. And then as far as the Falcons go, I mean, tough luck loss over the Indianapolis Colts 27-24. And I mean, that was a game where, they let that one get away. I'm going to openly admit it. They let that one get away for them. And it was really more of a defensive letdown than offensively. But, it is what it is. Now both teams struggling. Both teams have to get a big win here. I'm going to go Atlanta to rebound. I think Atlanta will rebound, and I think they'll get the job done, and I think they'll win this game. So I got really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, Atlanta, like you said, coming off of a tough luck loss of the Indianapolis Colts here, and yeah, and the thing that really has me concerned is Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan, he has 6 interceptions right now through the first 3 games. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why the Falcons are 1-2, and they have a -4 turnover differential, and his red zone interceptions have made it even more difficult for the Falcons to overcome their high penalty totals. And Marcus Mariota, I mean, he's got no interceptions, but his inconsistent play and lack of production have been criticized in the Titans' 2 consecutive losses. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these quarterbacks do. I mean, both of them need to get off to a good start, because if either one of them have another bad game, that could definitely really hurt them. So, yeah. So, and of course, for the Falcons, of course, one of the big stories, of course, Falcon safety Keanu Neal, who suffered a season-ending torn left Achilles tendon, so he's done for the year. I mean, and the thing is, guys, this is the 2nd straight year he has suffered a season-ending injury in the opening month. So I feel bad for this guy. I mean, this is a young guy with so much talent, and now you lose him on the defensive side. So, yeah. So, but to me, I mean, I think the Falcons, to me, are the better team here. I got them winning this one. It's going to be a close one. I'll say 27-24 as well. So nothing more to say. Florio, let's move on to the next game.
And I'm going to be honest with you. This is in our top 3 games of the week right here. The next two we have coming up will be in our top 3. And we started off with the game that I'm going to consider now the number 3 game of the week right here. We got the Cleveland Browns squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore on the mothership as always. Well, actually, the next 3 games on our list are going to be the top 3 games of the week. Well, one of them would have been, but that's the game that Fox stole. But nonetheless, Greg Gumbel, the legendary Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Melanie Collins, they will have the Browns and the Ravens on CBS. Ravens opening up as a 7-point favorite. The series history, very one-sided. It's all Baltimore. They lead it 30-10. Ravens, well, actually, both teams split last season. Cleveland won in Cleveland. Baltimore won in Baltimore. That final week, that crazy game at the final week last year. Ravens won 26-24. The Browns haven't won in Baltimore since a wild 33-30 overtime win back in 2015. So, in essence, this game is really for first place in the AFC North. And MF, if it wasn't for some other teams doing surprisingly well, this easily could have been our game here.
Yeah, absolutely. Easily could have been. There was a lot of hype with the Cleveland Browns, as many of you guys know, going into the season. And there was some hype about the Baltimore Ravens. Well, the Ravens as good as advertised. And even though they did lose to Kansas City, that was a better game than expected. A lot of people kind of felt like, that the Ravens really hung tough. They hung in there, only lost by 33-28 to the Kansas City. And it was really one of those games where basically the Ravens played really well. They had everything going their way. It wasn't, they kind of let one get away. Lamar Jackson had a good game, 267 yards passing, no touchdowns, no picks. And Mark Ingram, 16 carries, 103 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If you had it on fantasy, congratulations. He probably won the week for you single-handedly. But at the end of the day, what basically led to the game, or what led to the end, was their defense just let them down. And the thing was, Kansas City jumped out to this huge lead early in the game, and then that's when Baltimore started chipping away. Give it a few more minutes, maybe we'd be talking the Ravens 3-0, knocking Kansas City off the ranks of the unbeaten, because they were right there. They got close. They just couldn't finish the job or end the game as they were hoping to do. But what it is what it is. And like I said, Baltimore is a really good team. They really, really, really showed some heart and guts and everything else, even though they were tough luck losers. As it pertains to the Cleveland Browns, I'm already hearing chants of overrated. Like, I'm already hearing it. I'm hearing it a lot from the fans. So I'm hearing a lot of smack going around about this team. This team isn't what it was meant to be. A lot of people, that it's fool's gold. We got caught up in the hype. This team isn't good. They did lose tough game to the LA Rams, 20-13. And the one thing that you hear constantly is Baker Mayfield. 195 yards, had a touchdown, but had an interception in the game. And that proved to be one of the difference. Nick Chubb, 96 yards rushing. Really, he should have had a higher number in that game. At the end of the day, they just didn't have any efficient work at all. As a matter of fact, they only mustered in the entire game 270 yards of total offense, and their defense gave up 344 yards. Baker Mayfield got sacked 3 times in the game, and actually got sacked 2 times in the game, threw 1 INT, and what really hurt Cleveland, guys, penalties. 8 penalties for 60 yards. And you lost a fumble along the way? Yeah, you're not going to win a game when you do that many mistakes. I'm just saying. I think Baltimore, you know they're ball hawks. You know their defense is notorious. You know their defense is big time. I kind of got a feeling that the Ravens will lock it down as usual. They're definitely going to bring the pain, and it's at home. I like it. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to knock off the Cleveland Browns in this game. I got nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna go there and say it. The Cleveland Browns are overrated. I mean, all this hype they talked about with them, all the things they did, and for what? I mean, to me, I'm gonna say it right now. Until they can turn it around, they're still and I'm gonna use an old saying from the late great Denny Green. They are who we thought they were. And that is a bad team. I mean, yeah, they hung around, but Baker Mayfield, he did have a touchdown. But he got picked. He got sacked 3 times. So, and this Baltimore Ravens team, after the way they had a tough luck loss, they are smelling blood, and they're going to go for it. And Lamar Jackson's going to have a field day with this defense of the Browns, and the defense for the Ravens is going to be all over Baker Mayfield. So, to me, I'm going to say it. This isn't even going to be close. I'm going to say 38-17. The Ravens whoop those overrated Cleveland Browns. Florio, go.
Yeah, I hate to say it. They are, unfortunately, we have to put them in the category of not only overrated, but overhyped as well. I mean, they lay an egg against Tennessee. They beat the Jets. I mean, come on. Everybody beats the Jets nowadays. And they did hang with the Rams, but like MF said, the penalties. They are the most penalized team in the league. They lead the league in penalties. And that's not that's not a category you want to lead. That's all I can say. But anyways, what to watch for in this one? The Ravens' offensive line could have problems against the Browns' pass rush, which is the best Baltimore has played this season by a long way, according to head coach John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson is averaging 99 yards rushing a game in his 5 regular season starts at Baltimore's M&T Bank Stadium. But how will the pass rush affect that part of his game? Bold prediction: 2 of Baker Mayfield's former Oklahoma teammates, Marquise Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews, score touchdowns as Lamar Jackson prevails in a shootout of former Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. Stat to know: the Ravens have blitzed on 47% of opposing QB dropbacks this season, the highest mark in the NFL, and they boast the NFL's 4th best pass rush win rate, beating blocks within 2.5 seconds 58% of the time, per NFL Next Gen Stats research. What to know for fantasy? Nick Chubb has the chance to join Todd Gurley as the only player since 2009 to have at least 17 carries and 3 receptions in each of their team's first 4 games of a season. Todd Gurley did it last year. The betting nugget: last season, Baltimore failed to cover in all 5 divisional games in which it was the favorite, including both tries against Cleveland. Baltimore is the FPI favorite at 72.7%. I think Cleveland will hang with them again, but ultimately the Baltimore Ravens will get it done here. I say the Ravens will win this one. My final score, I'm going to go 31-27 Baltimore over Cleveland. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Tony and Mikey special, the Tony and Mikey Game of the Week, right here Who would have thought we would be talking about this as the game of the week, especially at this juncture? Sole possession of first place in the AFC East to the winner. The New England Patriots squaring off against the Buffalo Bills. Both teams are 3-0. We got Michael Bullock and Derek Ferreira representing Patriot Nation along with everybody else. While it's myself and Jason Hicksonbaugh and the rest of the Buffalo Bills, of the Bills Mafia. Both teams coming in at 3-0. On the call for this one, Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn for CBS. Of course, this is the Tony and Mikey game right here, myself and MF. New England opening up as a 7-point favorite. One-sided series as well. New England leads this series 73-43 with a tie. And the Patriots have owned Buffalo in the last few years. They have swept each of the last 2 years. They've won the last 5 meetings between these two teams. New England winning in Buffalo last year, 25-6. I believe that was on a Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. The Buffalo Bills have not beaten the New England Patriots at home since week 3 of 2011, a game I'll never forget. Buffalo winning 34-31 on a late field goal to win that. Field goal as time expired, I do believe. So pretty much since this decade started, the Buffalo Bills have only beaten the New England Patriots 5 times in the 2000s. Well, in the last 2 decades. So, all right, Bullock, we started off with you. This is the game of the week on our side of the ledger. I don't give a damn what anybody says. First place, AFC East on the line. Business as usual for your Patriots. But how about my Buffalo Bills? And let me tell you something. We're ready for you, Buffaloes. We're coming for you.
I'll tell you what. I mean, this has got a different feeling this time around with these two going at. I mean, the last time I can remember a Bills Patriots game getting this much this much hype. Well, I can remember sometimes that it gotten some hype. One, I think it was when Rex Ryan was the coach at the time. But of course, who could ever forget that opener in the 2003 season? Of course, what led into that was obviously Lawyer Malloy getting released by the Patriots right before the season started, and he ended up going to the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills put a whooping on the Patriots. So, yeah, I mean, this to me is a statement game for the Buffalo Bills to prove why they shouldn't be taken for granted, and they can hang around with the Patriots. So they really need this. I mean, as we all know, Tom Brady, he is 30-3 against the Buffalo Bills in his career, and he's going to be going up. Tom Brady, he actually hasn't been Tom Terrific in the past 4 meetings since Frazier and Coach Sean McDermott's arrival. Though he's beaten the Bills all 4 times, Tom Brady has only averaged 233 yards passing, which is 20 yards fewer than in his previous 29 starts, and combined for 3 touchdowns and 4 picks. Yeah, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on to see what kind of defensive plan that Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier is going to have for him. So I think the key here, obviously the Patriots really, that offensive line, which has been a question mark, they really need to do a good job of protecting Brady. And of course, the Patriots defensively, in the first 3 games, they haven't even allowed a rushing or a passing touchdown in the first 3 games. And of course, last weekend against the Jets, they only allowed just 105 yards of total offense. So that's something that needs to be watched as well. So, yeah, so this is going to be a fun game, no doubt about it. I think the Patriots, they really need to do a good job of also containing Josh Allen because, I mean, he's really good for them. So, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Patriots to win this one. I'm going to say 27-20. They beat the Buffalo Bills, and it will definitely live up to the hype. Florio, it is yours.
Most anticipated Patriots-Bills game since that game in 2011 when both teams were 2-0 going in and sole possession of first in the AFC East was on the line. So, boy, howdy. This is unbelievable. So, all right. What to watch for? Josh Allen has yet to turn in 4 quarters of mistake-free football this season, but he will need to against the Patriots. A large part of his game is his ability to improvise. Whether he'll be able to make smart improvisational decisions against an opportunistic New England defense will determine how successful the Bills' offense will be on Sunday. Bold prediction: Sony Michel will lead the way on offense for New England as the Patriots' running game will find its groove after 3 outings in which the attack has trended more toward the pass. Michel, who has totaled only 108 rushing yards over 3 games, will top the 100-yard mark in a close contest that will be decided in the fourth quarter. Stat to know: New England has won 17 consecutive games against first or second-year starting quarterbacks, and the Patriots' man defense could spell trouble for Allen. According to ESPN coverage metrics powered by NFL Next Gen Stats data, the Patriots use man coverage at the second highest rate in the league, 68%, and Allen averages just 6.6 yards per attempt versus man, compared with 8 yards per attempt versus zone. What to know for fantasy? Tom Brady has failed to score more than 15.6 fantasy points in each of his past 4 games against the Bills. Betting nugget: last season, New England was 1-5 outright as a single-digit road favorite, including 0-3 outright when favored by 6 to 9 points on the road. Of course, New England is the favorite with the FPI 75.3%, obviously because of the ownage over the last couple of decades, much to my chagrin. All right. Of course, I want my team to win. You know I want my team to win this. I mean, it would be our biggest win since that game in 2011. To do it at this juncture, at the quarter mark of the year, to beat the Patriots at their own game in our house, it would be the biggest win in a long time. Probably since 2017, when we had that magical playoff run. Of course, New England's going to win because, let's face it, New England owns Buffalo, and they're going to continue to own Buffalo as long as Tom Brady's still breathing, for goodness sakes, and still playing. But let me tell you, it is not going to be a blowout. They are not going to, toss us around like Cabbage Patch dolls. No, they're not. They're not going to do that like they've done over the years. Buffalo's going to hang with these guys. I'll say it like this. I'm gonna steal a WWE reference here. This to me is like Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston when we see them go at it for the WWE Championship next week on the Friday Night SmackDown premiere. The Buffalo Bills are the Kofi Kingston. They're the underdog. The New England Patriots are like Brock Lesnar, the big bad beast who owns, manhandles, and has had a total stranglehold over the NFL for so many years now. As much as I want to see it end, and as much as I want to see, one of the biggest upsets in recent years, I have to go with the New England Patriots in this one. My final score is going to be 20-17, but damn it to hell, we're coming to play and we're going to keep it close. It's not going to be no 30-point rout. It's not going to be any of that nonsense. We're hanging with you guys. That's all I can say. Bills Mafia, come on. Let's go. Myself, Jason Hixenbaugh, the rest of us. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Do your job. Don't let them come in. Don't let them have their way in our house. Let's send them back to Foxborough with some bumps and bruises and an L, most importantly. So nothing more to say on this. 2017, I have to go with New England here, unfortunately, because I got to be realistic. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phil Simms to my Jim Nance. I mean, when we first started doing this years ago, we only focused on the AFC East.
Yep.
And when we did the AFC East, how many times did we see this game?
Plenty. Many times.
And for the first time in many years, we've got a vintage AFC East game. MF, do that thing I like as we go old school.
High drama, high intensity, and a very big matchup. No doubt about it. Very big game. To say the very least, it's gonna be a great battle. No doubt about it. It's gonna be a great battle. Between both teams, and at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm gonna go with New England as well. I just feel like they're more battle tested than Buffalo. I'm sorry, Anthony. The problem with Buffalo is the teams that they beat. They beat the Jets, they beat the Giants, and they've beaten Cincinnati. Where New England, and the thing is with New England, they dominated Pittsburgh that opening night game. Yes, they had no problem with Miami, but then again, it is the Dolphins, and we'll get into them a little bit later on. And then, they had an easy time in their last game as well. So 3 matches, 3 games, and it was easy victory. So, I mean, there's no scare, no intimidation. If Buffalo makes it close, there could be a chance for an upset, but I just don't see it. I think New England is just too strong, too powerful. Defensively, they're better than they were a year ago. Offensively, they're clicking on all cylinders, but there has been a little bit of an injury bug. Edelman is hurt. You don't know what you're going to get. It looks like James White will be back. He had a personal week off because, with the birth of his of a child. So, I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But at the end of the day, I got to go with New England to win as well. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Man, it's going to feel like the old days, man. I mean, so many times, MF. I mean, all those years ago, whether it was at the old Foxborough Stadium or in Buffalo or Gillette, I mean, it's going to be great. And New Era Field in Buffalo, Rich Stadium, Ralph Wilson Stadium, that's where we're going to be. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And the great games keep on coming. And I mentioned the game that Fox stole right out from under our noses. If it was only on our side, this would have been the clear number 2 behind New England and Buffalo. Because we've got a game that Fox stole from us. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. Should be on CBS because it's AFC at NFC, but it's on the other side. Kevin Burkhardt, Charles Davis, Pam Oliver. Kansas City opening up as a 7-point favorite. Kansas City leads the all-time series 8-5. Their last meeting was 2015 in London, and it was all Kansas City in that one, 45-10. Last time they met in Detroit was 2011. It was all Detroit, 48-3. Wow. Kansas City has not won in Detroit since 1996, 28-24 at the old Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. So, number 2 game this would have been the clear number 2 on our side, but it is overall. But nonetheless, this one should be a beauty. And let's get into the Chiefs and the Lions, and I will start it off. What to watch for? Patrick Mahomes hasn't played in a dome as a pro, and playing indoors at Ford Field should make Kansas City's offense somehow more dangerous. If Lions cornerbacks Darius Slay and Rashawn Melvin are not at full strength, Mahomes and the Chiefs could be extra special on Sunday. Bold prediction? Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce will catch a couple of touchdown passes. Kelce only has 1 this season, and Detroit has done a nice job of defending tight ends, giving up only 7 completions. But the Lions have also given up 93 yards on those passes, and they haven't faced a tight end with Kelce's ability. Stat to know, according to ESPN's coverage analysis, using NFL Next Gen Stats research, Mahomes is averaging 12.5 yards per attempt with 6 passing touchdowns when facing zone coverage this season, both of which are the best in the NFL. But the Lions have used man coverage on 68% of their snaps this season, the third most of any team this season. What to know for fantasy? Mahomes had the greatest fantasy season ever by a quarterback last season. But if he scores 28.5 points Sunday, he will actually be ahead of where he was through 4 games in 2018. Yay me, he's on my fantasy team. Betting nugget. Matthew Stafford is 9-16 against the spread in his career as a home underdog. Kansas City, the FPI favorite, at 70.2%. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this one. I think Detroit's going to hang with them. But I think right around sometime in the fourth quarter, I think Kansas City will pull away at the end. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. My final score, 38-27, Kansas City over Detroit. Nothing more to say. MF, this would have been the clear number 2 behind us if it was on our side. But nonetheless, Kansas City doing they picked up right where they left off. But come on, where's the love for the Detroit Lions? They're 2-0-1. Come on, somebody.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of one of those things where, they're just quietly doing their business. They're quietly, winning these games, quietly doing pretty well. And I know a lot of people are like, come on, guys, really? You're really gonna try to push this team? I mean, Detroit. Look, at the end of the day, they tied one of their games, and the other 2 that they just beat. I mean, if you look at the body of work, or if you look at the schedule and the teams that they defeated, beating the Philadelphia Eagles, hey, that's no small feat, guys. I mean, especially after what Philadelphia just did last night and the way they beat Green Bay. So, I mean, yeah, I'll give them credit where credit's due. I mean, and then they knocked off, I think this was the Chargers? They knocked off the Chargers. So, I mean, the Chargers were highly anticipated. A lot of people thought that they were going to be a threat, and, the Detroit beat them. They did beat Philly. Now they got to go into Kansas City. But the one thing I'm a little worried about, next week, and I believe this is I believe it's a bye week for them, but in 2 weeks they got to play Green Bay. Are they looking forward to them and not handling their business? That's the one thing I'd be worried about. Because if they're focused, and you cannot look past Kansas City. That would be a major no-no. You do that, you're going to get ran out of the building. Kansas City's too good. Defensively, liability. Offensively, look out. When you got Mahomes, Pat Mahomes does it so easy, it's free real estate for Mahomes. Anything he does is so easy, man. Anything he does. You got Travis Kelce. You got a good receiving core. Shady McCoy is proven to be a decent running back in Kansas City. I think they got themselves a good running back over there now. So they got the offensive package is complete. They're dangerous. They're good. They're amazing. I got nothing bad to say. Defensively, they could get picked. They could get picked apart. And that's what Matthew Stafford is going to have to do. If you're going to do it, you got to beat them deep. You got to do the deep balls, downfield, and let Kerryon Johnson run the football a little bit. Kerryon Johnson did pretty well last week when he went up against Philadelphia. He got over 100 yards. So it is possible for an upset. But I'm not going against Kansas City. I'd be stupid for not to go against Kansas City. Not now. Not at this point in the season. They're too good. They're too hot. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. But I'm going to say this will probably be like a 35-24 type game. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for the Detroit Lions to have a chance to maybe pull off the upset is, I mean, they need to match Kansas City all the way. I mean, they got to do their job trying to contain Pat Mahomes. And if their corners can hold down their amazing receivers and their tight ends, they may have a chance here. They just may have a chance. But yeah, I mean, it's too tall of an order. But the thing is, the Detroit's gonna hang in this all throughout. But in the end, Kansas City is too good. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs as well, 35-28. I mean, I'd be stupid to be going against the Kansas City Chiefs, or, of course, as Randy Orton would say, I would be stupid to be going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Florio, it's yours.
Speaking of stupid, MF's Facebook post last night, he was throwing around those stupids to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I don't blame him. I forgot to mention, getting all caught up in the hoopla here. Week 4 started last night with far and away the best Thursday night football game of this season. One I was highly looking forward to coming in, and boy, howdy, they delivered. A near 5-star classic. It was a great game. The Philadelphia Eagles stealing one in Lambeau, 34-27 over the Green Bay Packers. Fantastic game. Go out of your way to see it if you haven't already. It was incredible. All right. Let's see. Where are we here? Next on the docket, we have a proper game on its proper channel. We have the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Houston Texans at NRG/Reliant Stadium in Houston. This one will be over on Fox, and on the call for that one will be Kenny Albert, Rondé Barber, and former ESPN SportsCenter anchor Lindsey Zarniak. They will be there. And Houston opening up as a 4-point favorite. Series history between these two is tied at 2 games apiece. Houston won the first 2 meetings. Carolina's won the last 2 meetings. The last one was 2015 in Charlotte. Carolina won 24-17. Last meeting in Houston was 2011. Carolina won 28-13. Houston beat Carolina at home in their first meeting ever back in 2003. That was a 14-10 win. So 2-2. So good old MF Michael Fletcher starts us off here. Carolina, big win in Arizona behind an inexperienced quarterback in Kyle Allen. He's subbing for Cam Newton while Cam Newton recovers from injury. Whereas the Houston Texans, they went into LA and they beat the Chargers. Huge road win for them. Big. So MF, question is, Cam Newton's still out. Houston at home. Can Houston keep this roll going?
It's possible, and I totally agree. I think they can get the job done. I think they are, I think Houston can get the job done. I think it's definitely a possibility, no doubt about it. And I'm gonna openly admit, I think Houston will get the job done here, and I think they'll win this game. I feel like they're more a complete team than the Panthers. And even if Cam Newton was playing, I still would go with the Houston Texans. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say about that. So I got Houston winning, and Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, like, with or without Cam Newton, I would still go with the Carolina Panthers as well. I mean, like you said, Houston is more of a complete team. I mean, offensively and defensively. I mean, especially with Deshaun Watson and, of course, J.J. Watt on the defensive end. I mean, yeah, so, Kyle Allen's really going to have to – he's going to have to really play hard if they had any chance. But it's going to be tough for him with this defense of the Houston Texans. So, yeah, so I got the Texans winning this one as well. So, Florio, it is yours.
Okay. What to watch for? The Texans haven't allowed a player to rush for more than 100 yards since week 17 of 2017, the third longest active streak in the NFL, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. can Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey, who has more than 100 rushing yards in 2 of 3 games this season, break that streak? Bold prediction, Carolina quarterback Kyle Allen will follow his 4-touchdown pass performance against Arizona with 3 more against Houston, which has given up only 5 touchdown passes in 3 games. He'll also top 250 yards passing against a defense that is stingy against the run. Stat to know, the Panthers defense is using zone coverage on 72% of its snaps this year, the second highest rate in the NFL. And the unit is giving up a league low 4.6 yards a play this season in that coverage per ESPN's coverage metrics, powered by NFL Next Gen Stats data. What to know for fantasy? Kyle Allen has made 2 starts in his NFL career, resulting in 7 total touchdowns and a pair of top 7 fantasy finishes at the position. Betting nugget, Allen seeks to be the second quarterback in the Super Bowl era to begin his career 3-0 despite being an underdog in each game. The other, Patrick Mahomes. Houston is the FPI favorite, 75.4%. I'm going with the Houston Texans to win this game. I'm going to go 24-21, Houston over Carolina. Moving on to our next matchup. We got the Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. CBS has this one. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, John Schriffen will have the call. Indianapolis opening up as a 7-point favorite. Series history favors Oakland, the Raiders, only by a count of 8-7. Last year they met in Oakland. Indianapolis won 42-28. Their last meeting in Indy was in 2013. Indianapolis won 21-17. Oakland hasn't won in Indianapolis since 2001, 23-18. That was at the old RCA Dome in Indianapolis. I believe that was week 2 of that year, if I recall correctly. Week 2 or 3, one of those weeks. But I know Oakland won that. So I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts off on this one. So Bullock, no Andrew Luck, and so far no problem for Indy. They're 2-1, and if it wasn't for a tough luck loss against the Chargers, they'd be 3-0. So Bullock, can the Colts keep the surprise run going?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that's really surprising. I mean, the Colts, I mean, so far they're off to a 2-1 start. I mean, like you said, if it weren't for that, what happened in that Charger game, they could be 3-0. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Frank Reich. I mean, the Colts. He knows this Colts defense has been good. I mean, the Indy's defense heads into the game ranked. Yes, the numbers don't. The numbers show that they are in the bottom when it comes to all that. But the thing is, I mean, Frank Reich still has faith in this in the defense, of course. But the thing is, of course, the Colts, they won't be at full strength, obviously. Strong safety Malik Hooker could miss more than a month with an injured knee. All-pro linebacker Darius Leonard was still in the concussion protocol this week. And after number 1 cornerback Pierre Desser fought his way back from a bruised knee last week, he's now dealing with an injured hamstring. Yeah. I mean, and for the Raiders, the Raiders pose an intriguing matchup. While their offense has struggled through the first 3 weeks, Indy can put on the tape from last year's 42-28 shootout and just see how dangerous Oakland can be. So, yeah, I mean, I like the play from I like the play from their offense of the Colts as of right now. But the thing is, I mean, this is a tough one for me. I mean, with some of their key guys hurt in this game, and not being able to play, man, this is not easy. I'm gonna go with the Indianapolis Colts to win. I'm gonna say 27-24. Indy barely beats the Oakland Raiders, but I would not be surprised if Oakland does pull off a victory. So, Florio, it's yours.
What to watch for? The Colts had 8 sacks in their first 2 games of the season, but as pass rusher Justin Houston noted, Atlanta's Matt Ryan did a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly to cause the Colts to go sackless last week. Don't be surprised if Derek Carr and the Raiders try to do the same thing Sunday. Bold prediction, the Raiders will ride rookie running back Josh Jacobs, whose touches have fallen from 24 to 12 to 10 in 3 games, to establish the run game early and set up the play-action passing game. Stat to know, Derek Carr quietly has the 3rd highest completion percentage at 73.5% in the NFL this season, but he is also averaging just 7.1 yards per attempt, 20th in the NFL, and 6.4 air yards per attempt, 31st. What's a note for fantasy? Oakland's Darren Waller ranks 2nd in the NFL across all positions with 26 catches this season, and he is facing a Colts team that has given up more tight end receptions than any other team since the beginning of last season, 121. The betting nugget, Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett will be the favorite as the starter for the 6th time in 21 career starts. He is 4-1, both straight up and against the spread as a favorite in his career. Indianapolis opening as a 75.1% FPI favorite. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts to win this game. My final score, I'm going to go 27-16. Indianapolis beats Oakland, keeps the surprising run going. So nothing more to say. MF, we thought when Andrew Luck retired that it was going to be a hard times year, but the Colts said, What hard times?
Well, easy now. I mean, it is still early in the season. We're only 4 weeks in. But yeah, they've delivered up to this point. They're going up against a Raider team. Looked good after the first game. Stumbled the last couple of games now. And I kind of feel like Indianapolis has hit their stride. So we're going to have to wait and see. I think you're going to see a little bit of Jacoby Brissett, not a lot. You're going to expect a lot of Marlon Mack. I think Marlon Mack is going to be running the ball really well. And if T.Y. Hilton is healthy, that's another weapon that they'll be able to have. And I think they'll get the job done. So, yeah, I got Indianapolis winning as well. So nothing more to say. Anthony, on to the next game.
Which is one of the Zonk games of the week. You can make an argument for this to be the Zonk game of the week. I'm torn between 2 of them. This is one of them. We got the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Miami Dolphins at the home of Super Bowl 54, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. CBS has it. Tom McCarthy, Jay Feely will be on the call. Cover your ears, MF. Chargers, huge favorites, double-digit favorites. They're the biggest favorite of the week. They're 14.5-point favorites.
For the most part.
Ouch.
Yeah, 14.5. That's the spread. However, Miami does. Here's some encouraging news for MF. Miami leads the all-time series 16-13, but since 1995, the Chargers have only beaten the Dolphins 3 times. So, and the Dolphins have won the last 2 meetings on the road. Their last meeting was in 2017, opening week, or it might have been the second week, but it was Miami's first game because of a hurricane situation. Miami went into StubHub and they beat the Chargers 19-17. I remember that very well. MF gave me the business. He read me the riot act saying, "Don't ever doubt me again. Never, ever again." And yeah, how'd that work out for you, big boy? But anywho, last meeting in Miami was 2014. Miami won in a rout 37-0. The last time the Chargers left Miami with a win, you got to go all the way back to one of the greatest playoff games in the history of the NFL. The infamous AFC divisional playoff game where the Chargers beat the Dolphins in overtime, 41-38, behind the efforts of Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow Sr. And the Chargers haven't won a regular season game in Miami since the year before in 1980, 27-24, also in overtime. So a lot of history between those 2 teams, most certainly. But here you go. What to watch for in this one? Keenan Allen probably will rack up huge receiving yards in this one. He had 183 yards and 2 touchdowns on 13 catches last week against the Texans. And now he has to be licking his chops facing the Dolphins' banged-up secondary. it wouldn't be a surprise to see Allen eclipse 200 yards. Bold prediction, Chargers running back Austin Eckler goes for more than 100 rushing yards for the first time as a pro. The Dolphins are giving up a league worst 208 rushing yards a game. Melvin Gordon's holdout is over, but Sunday's game will be Eckler's opportunity to put up big numbers against a lackluster Miami run defense. Stat to know, the Dolphins are trying to avoid becoming the third team to lose 4 consecutive games by 25-plus points in the same season. It hasn't been done since the 1954 Washington Redskins. What to know for fantasy? Eckler is running back 3 for the season, and his 77.8 points are 3.2 more than Gordon has ever scored through the Chargers' first 3 games of the season. Betting nugget? Again, MF, cover your ears. Miami is the first team since the 1970 merger to be a home underdog of at least 14 points twice before the end of September. Chargers overwhelming FPI favorite, 86.2% going with the Chargers, as am I. Chargers going away, 34-13. Chargers are hopping mad after 2 tough luck losses and going on the road in Miami against Hoofa. That's all I can say on that. 34-13, all Chargers all the time in this one, I'm sorry to say. So, MF, unfortunately, we got to talk about, the hard times that is the Dolphins this season. Spanked by the Ravens, spanked by the Patriots. Hey, you hung early with Dallas, but then Dallas, they turned on the burners and, well, you know the rest.
And I know the rest, yeah. That's what we've been looking at all season long, and I don't expect it to get any more better at this point. So you're going up against a Charger team who's, like you said, hopping mad, everything else. Now Melvin Gordon possibly will be playing on Sunday, ending his holdout. That's great for me in fantasy because I do have Melvin Gordon, and he'll instantly go right into my lineup. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, this is
he's actually not playing Fletch.
Oh no,
no.
The Chargers coach said that he will see action. So no, he will be playing on Sunday. He will play. I've been keeping a close eye on it, Bullock. So no, he will be going. From what I've heard, so they said he should be playing. In what capacity? How much is he going to play? I don't know, but he will be seeing action on Sunday. They've already said. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that the Chargers are going to win the game, and there's really nothing more to say. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, with or without Melvin Gordon, it's going to be a long day for the Dolphins. The Chargers are hopping mad after 2 tough losses. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. All Chargers, all the way. Let's move on, Florio.
Yeah, and we, unfortunately, these next few games are going to be Zonk games, unfortunately. And of course, we move on to a rare Zonk game on the other side, which is on Fox. We have the Washington Redskins squaring off against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. This game will be over on Fox, and on the call for that one will be Tom Brenneman, Chris Spielman, and Shannon Spake. And the Giants opening up as 3-point favorites. A lot of history between these two teams, one of the oldest rivalries in the history of the game. The Giants lead the all-time regular season series 100-68 with 4 ties. They split last season, both teams winning on the road. Washington winning in New York 20-13. Giants beat the Redskins the year before at home 18-10 in 2017. So I believe we started off with good old MF Michael Fletcher and MF. Man, the Redskins, hoofa. The Bears defense, oh my goodness, they manhandled them on Monday night. And look at the Giants. Daniel Jones saying, hey, I'm for real.
Yeah, he did. 28 for 40, 353 yards, had 2 touchdowns in the game, but he's got to be careful. That O-line kind of let him down a little bit. They did get some sacks on him, and he did put the ball on the turf a couple of times. Lost a couple of fumbled the football a couple of times as well. That's one thing that he needs to clean up, but didn't throw any INTs, made a really good performance, but here's the major problem for the Giants. Saquon Barkley is out. He's injured, guys. He's down. Injured his leg in the game against Tampa last week. So Daniel Jones is going to have to rely on Evan Ingram. He's going to have to rely on Sterling Shepard. He's going to have to rely on maybe Wade Gillum Jr. If he has a good game, maybe that'll help him out. But at the end of the day, yeah, I actually like the Giants winning this game at home. I think their defense will hold off enough. It's going to be a close matchup, but I do have the Giants winning the game 28-21. I got the G-Men knocking off the Redskins. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giants.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, no Saquon Barkley. I mean, yeah, Daniel Jones is going to have to rely on Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, and yeah, the O line's going to have to do a better job of protecting Daniel Jones. If they can do that, they should have no problem here. But if the Redskins get to Daniel Jones, who knows? The Redskins could pull off the upset. But I'm going to go with the Giants here. But who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins do pull off the upset. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, absolutely. What to watch for? Landon Collins makes his return to the Meadowlands to face his former team for the first time. He has been vocally critical of Giants general manager Dave Gettleman and the way his situation was handled, even calling him a liar. Don't think for a second Collins won't want to stick it to his former team with a huge performance. Bold prediction, Daniel Jones' mobility will be a problem for Washington's defense. He will buy enough time to throw for at least 250 yards and 2 touchdown passes in his first home start. But Redskins quarterback Case Keenum will top him in the stat department with 275 yards and 3 scores. Stat to know, the Redskins have given up more than 30 points in 3 consecutive games, and 4 straight would tie the team's single-season record set in 1954. Meanwhile, the Giants are 8-3 with a plus 65-point differential, 241 to 176 in their past 11 home games against Washington. What to know for fantasy? Jones was QB2 in week 3 and now faces a Redskins defense that has allowed all 3 opposing quarterbacks this season to complete over 70% of their passes and throw for 3 scores. Betting nugget, over the past 2 seasons, the Giants are 1-7-1 against the spread at home. Since 2017, the Giants are 0-3 outright as a home favorite, 0-3-1 against the spread. Giants FPI favorite at 55.3%. I'm going with the New York Giants to win this game. I'm going to say 28-22, the Giants over the Redskins. And that concludes our early game action. We now move to the late games. We have 4 of them. And we will start it off with the first of our 2 4:05 games on Fox. NFC West Division matchup. We got the Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, a.k.a. University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Fox will have this one. The legendary Dick Stockton with Mark Schlereth and Jennifer Hale. And Seattle opening up as only a 5-point favorite. I thought it would have been a little more, but it's a 5-point spread for Seattle in Arizona. Series history favors the Arizona Cardinals 20-19 with a tie. Seattle swept both meetings last year, including in Arizona, 20-17. They won the last few meetings in Arizona. The Cardinals have not beaten the Seahawks at home since 2012. That was a 20-16 final. Of course, the closest they've come to beating Seattle at home recently was that god-awful 6-6 tie in 2016. So I do believe it is Michael Bullock who starts off on this one. So Bullock, Seattle losing at home to a Drew Brees-less New Orleans Saints. And they go into Arizona. What do you say about this?
Yeah, you know the Seahawks are steaming after losing to a Drew Brees-less New Orleans Saints here, and you got two really good mobile quarterbacks going at it here. Obviously, Russell Wilson and the rookie Kyler Murray. And yeah, I mean, all we can say is Kyler Murray and the Cardinals could use another boost of confidence after losing 38-20 to Carolina last week, and they led 17-14 in the third quarter, but late in the game they just collapsed, especially giving up a 76-yard touchdown run by Christian McCaffrey and Kyler Murray throwing two interceptions. So, but the thing is, guys, we all know Kyler Murray is a rookie. He's going to have his mistakes, and he's just going to have to live by it when it comes to that. So, and yes, and of course, Wilson has been dominant through the first three games, throwing for over 900 yards with 7 touchdowns and no picks while completing 71% of his throws. But here's the thing. I mean, when it comes to the running game, Chris Carson, he's going to have to try to hold on to the football, or he may not have his job much longer. So, yeah, and of course, Seattle tight end Will Dissly has already caught 3 touchdown passes this season, and the number might jump up because you're going up against a defense that has struggled to contain that position all season, and plus you got Patrick Peterson and Robert Alford out with either suspension or injury. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks to win this one. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go 31-20. It's gonna be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours.
What to watch for? Larry Fitzgerald hasn't had a 100-yard game against Seattle since 2017, but that could change Sunday. Fitzgerald has gotten off to his best start with 18 catches, 253 yards, and 2 TDs through 3 games since 2015, and it's one of the best stretches to start a season in his career. He needs 5 catches on Sunday to move into second on the NFL's all-time receptions list. Wow. Bold prediction. Quentin Jefferson, who has been Seattle's best defensive lineman this season, will have a pair of sacks. Kyler Murray has been sacked more times at 16 than all but one quarterback, despite facing blitzes on only 24.2% of his dropbacks, which is 18th most among quarterbacks according to ESPN charting. Stat to know, Murray has 137 pass attempts to his first 3 career games, the most by any player since the 1970 merger. Mike Glennon's 181 attempts is the most to a player's first 4 games. What to know for fantasy, like Bullock mentioned, Seattle's Chris Carson has lost more fumbles this season, 3, than all of last year, 2. But he is one of only 2 backs with a 20-plus yard rush in all 3 games. Dalvin Cook is the other. Betting nugget, over the past 2 seasons, Arizona is 5-0 against the spread when it is an underdog of 3 to 7 points. Seattle, the FPI favorite at 60.5%. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. I'm going to go 26-21. Seattle beats Arizona. Nothing more to say. MF, your thoughts on Seattle and Arizona?
I agree. I'm going to go with Seattle as well. I just feel like they're just a better team completely. I know Arizona's still going through the growing pains and everything else. Kyler Murray still has to get ingratiated with the offense and everything else. I think they'll get there soon enough, but you're going up against a Seattle team, Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, that receiving core, and that defense that's starting to have a little bit of that Legion of Boom look. I'm sorry, I kind of feel like right now they're just Seattle's just the better team, so I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Nothing more to say. Florio, go.
Move on to the other 405 game on Fox, and believe it or not, we're getting this game on our end on Fox Providence here. Believe it or not, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. Fox has this one as well. Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, Laura Oakman will have the call. The Rams opening up as 9-point favorites. Series history, the Rams lead the all-time series 14-8. Rams have won the last 5 meetings in a row between these two teams. Their last meeting was 2016 in Tampa. Rams won a wild one, 37-32. This is the first time they're going to be meeting in Los Angeles since all the way back in 1987, the replacement year, the strike year. Rams won that one going away 35-3. Bucks have never won in Los Angeles. But the Bucks last won at the Rams when they were in St. Louis back in 2001. That was a 24-17 win. Bucks have never won in LA. So I believe I start this one off. So okay. Schematics out of the way. What to watch for? The Rams are well aware that their offense has performed below standard. They'll attempt to get on track against the Bucks, though that could prove difficult against a Todd Bowles defense that ranks 3rd against the run, giving up only 69.7 rushing yards a game. Bold prediction, Ronald Jones will notch his first career 100-yard rushing performance. He is coming off an 80-yard performance last weekend against the Giants, in which he averaged 5.7 yards a carry. The Rams surrendered 128 rushing yards to Christian McCaffrey and 96 to Nick Chubb. So it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Stat to know, Tampa Bay quarterback Jameis Winston leads the NFL with 10 completions in the tight windows, less than a yard of separation this season, and his 187 passing yards on such throws are the second most, according to NFL Next Gen Stats research. What to know for fantasy? Since the beginning of last season, LA's Jared Goff is averaging 83.5% more points a game at home than on the road. Betting nugget, Los Angeles is 7-1 against the spread in its past 8 games, including 3-0 this season. The team's only non-cover came in the Super Bowl. Rams are the FPI favorite at 80.7%. I got the Rams winning this one going away, 30-14. All Rams, all over the Bucks. Nothing more to say. MF, Bucks and Rams in the Coliseum.
And I don't expect much. Look, the Rams are just too loaded, too explosive. I kind of feel like they're gonna have an easy time with Tampa Bay. Even though I think Tampa will make it a little bit of a game, I just don't see how they go into the Coliseum and wins this. This seems like a little bit of a virtual no-win situation for me. I could even call this one of my locks of the week. So I'm going to go with the Rams to win pretty handily. So, Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Rams, I mean, they're firing at all cylinders, not just offensively, but defensively as well. So I expect them to have no problem with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I really got nothing more to say. Let's just move on, Florio.
And we move on to the 2 425 games over on CBS. And with Kansas City and Detroit being moved to the other side, this is now our number 2 game of the week on our side. And it's an NFC game. Go figure. We got an NFC game on our end. NFC North, big time NFC North implications here. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson will have it. The Bears are opening up as 1.5-point favorites. Series history favors the Minnesota Vikings 60-53 with 2 ties. However, the Bears swept both meetings last year. including in Chicago, 25-20, Chicago winning. Minnesota's last win in Chicago was the year before, 2017, by a score of 20-17. So, MF, Michael Fletcher, we started with you. Minnesota, Chicago. Both teams are 2-1. Winner of this will tie Green Bay for first in the NFC North.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been hearing a lot about, Chicago, the defense, and I'll openly admit, defensively, they're amazing. What they do is incredible. And then there's been the thing about Mitch Trubisky, and the whole 9 yards about the game plan that he does. Tyree Cohen, Ty Montgomery, the team, Minnesota, what they bring to the table. This is going to be down and dirty, an old school black and blue type of NFC North type game. This is going to be one of those where you're going to get injuries. There's going to be some hard hits. There's going to be some nastiness. So this is going to be a hard-hitting game in Soldier Field, and I'm going to go with the Bears. I think the Bears are going to hold out. They're just going to have enough to get by the Vikings. 28-24. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an old school NFC North match here. I mean, you got two teams battling for the top spot in the NFC North. I mean, the defense is for both sides are good. I just think the Bears' defense is better, so that offensive line for the Vikings is really going to have its hands full to try to protect Kirk Cousins. So this is a tough one here, but I am going to go with the Chicago Bears to win this one. I'm going to say that 28-24 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours.
What to watch for? With a pair of sometimes suspect quarterbacks, Minnesota's Kirk Cousins and Chicago's Mitchell Trubisky, the game probably hinges on which defense does a better job stopping the run. The Bears have allowed only one 100-yard rusher in regulation over their past 37 regular season games. That player was a Minnesota Viking, Latavius Murray, Week 17 of 2017. Bold prediction, Dalvin Cook, the league's leading rusher, won't crack 100 yards rushing for the first time this season, but will cross the century mark in yards from scrimmage with an increased role in the passing game. Minnesota's game plan will be predicated on short passes and screens, and we'll see Cook get his first receiving touchdown of the season. The stat to know, Cook is the fifth player in NFL history to rush for 110-plus yards and a touchdown in each of his team's first 3 games of a season. The other 4, all Hall of Famers. Get this lineup: Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson, Emmitt Smith, and Curtis Martin. Wow. What to know for fantasy? Vikings receiver Stephon Diggs has caught only 6 passes this season, but he did haul in 21 passes against these Bears last season. Betting nugget, regarding Chicago, teams coming off victories on Monday Night Football have failed to cover 7 consecutive games and are 12-20-1 against the spread since 2017. Minnesota, a slight FPI favorite at 52.2%, but I'm going with the Chicago Bears as well. I like them at home, and especially after what that defense did against the Washington Redskins, which saved my ass in fantasy last week. Major shout out to the Bears D. Boy, did they come through in a humongous way. But at the end of the day, Chicago Bears win this matchup. My final score, I'm going to go 20-17, Chicago over Minnesota. Should be a fun one. Always is when they get together. The final late game and the other 425 game over on CBS, not as exciting, but, we're going to get into it anyway. The Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Denver Broncos. Sports Authority Field in Mile High in Denver. That's where this game will go down. CBS has it. Andrew Catalon, James Lofton on the call. Denver opening up as a 3-point favorite. Series history between these two tied at 5 apiece. Denver has won the last 2 meetings. Their last meeting was 2016. That was in Jacksonville. Denver won 20-10. Their last meeting in Denver was 2013. Denver won going away 35-19. Jacksonville has not won in Denver since 2008. That was a 24-17 final. So, I believe it goes to Bullock here.
Yeah, it does go to me.
Okay. All right, Bullock, Jacksonville and Denver. Gardner Minshew, can he and that mustache keep the Jags going, or does Denver finally break through and get their first win?
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Broncos, like you said, they are 0-3, and now they got to go up against Gardner Minshew, who's been the talk around the NFL. I mean, up to this point, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this Denver defense, what they'll be able to do. I mean, but the thing is, Joe Flacco's going to have to deal with that Jacksonville D, which will definitely which could definitely be a problem. And of course, Jalen Ramsey could miss a game for the first time in his 4-year career after leaving the team to be with his family for the birth of his second child. And this comes all after what we saw with him and Doug Marrone. So, yeah, I hate to say it, but I think I got to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this one. I'm going to say 20-17 is going to be my final score. So, Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. What to watch for? The Broncos are the only team to still not have a sack and the only team to still not have forced a turnover this season. The Jaguars, meanwhile, were tied for the league lead in sacks after 3 games. And Denver's Joe Flacco is one of only 6 quarterbacks who have been sacked more than 10 times in 3 games. Bold prediction, the Jaguars' defense will intercept Joe Flacco at least twice. Flacco has struggled against Jacksonville overall, 5 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, along with a 3-3 record. But it's particularly true in the past 2 meetings. No TD passes, 4 interceptions, and just 242 total yards. The Jaguars' pass rush got cranked up last weekend, 9 sacks, and might be even better than the unit Flacco played in 2017. Stat to know, Jacksonville quarterback Gardner Minshew has 65 completions through 88 career pass attempts. Per the Elias Sports Bureau research, he needs only 6 completions in his first 12 attempts this week to set the NFL record for most through 100 pass attempts. What to know for fantasy? Broncos running back Philip Lindsay scored twice in week 3, but he has yet to gain even 10 yards on any of his 45 carries this season. Betting nugget regarding Denver since 2015, teams that are 0-3 are 12-2 against the spread in their 4th game when playing a team that has won a game that season. Denver is the FPI favorite at 59%, but I'm sorry, I gotta go with Michael Bullock on this one. Gardner Minshew, long live the stash. 17-14. Jacksonville steals one in Denver. Nothing more to say. MF, how about that Gardner Minshew?
Dude, he's a hero to my boys. I got a Discord crew that I normally talk with, and we're all on it. We're all thinking about him as Uncle Pedro. If you know the movie Napoleon Dynamite, actually no, Uncle Rico is his name. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. If you ever seen the movie, the guy looks just like Gardner Minshew. Dude, I'm down with the jorts. I'm down with the way that he plays, that bandana, the whole look, the old school 1970s. Looks like he's got like a mullet going, man. He's got like the stash that looks like Ron Jeremy. I'm all for it. I'm sorry. I know PG show. That's the only thing that's gonna get me a little bit in trouble, but I don't give a damn. I'm on Gardner Minshew. I'm with the Jacksonville Jaguars because of the way they play, and that's what it is. Look, it's not the most conventional offense. It's not the best looking offense, but the thing is, he's a game manager. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't make that many big throws or try to thread the needle or anything like that. He just lets the defense come with him. Obviously, with more game tape, defenses will start to figure this guy out. But right now, with the small little sample size and you don't know much about him, it's basically open season for Gardner Minshew. As long as he finds his guys getting downfield, consistently moving the football, running game, and through the air, get the ground and the air attack going, they're going to have no problems. And plus, I don't really have that much faith in Denver right now, other than maybe the running game with Phillip Lindsay, who's done pretty well. But Joe Flacco hasn't really looked that great, Anthony, and I think we can openly admit that. He hasn't looked very good in the first few games that he's already played. So I'm sorry. I'm with you guys. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to pull off the upset and to knock off the Denver Broncos. So nothing more to say. Let's go to the Sunday Night Football game.
Which started with a lot of promise, but then lost a little luster. But now it's become maybe the sleeper game of the week right here. We got the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the New Orleans Saints at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans on NBC, Sunday Night Football. Of course, you know who's working this one as always. The legendary Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. They'll be in the dome for this one. Dallas leads the all-time series 17-12. And they met last year in Dallas winning 13-10. Their last meeting in New Orleans was in 2015. The Saints won that one 26-20 in overtime. Cowboys have not won in New Orleans since 2009. That was a 24-17 final. And New Orleans and Dallas actually opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. So I start this one off. What to watch for? Last weekend, Teddy Bridgewater proved the Saints can win without Drew Brees by relying heavily on Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. But the Cowboys defense proved last season that it has the talent to shut down those guys. Dallas is the only team to keep them both at 72 yards or fewer since Kamara's first game in 2017. The Saints must find a way to create some big plays this time. Bold prediction, Dak Prescott will be sacked more than 2 times. Why is that bold? Prescott has been sacked only twice this season. But in their past 5 home games dating to last season, the Saints have put up 19 sacks, including 6 of Houston's Deshaun Watson on opening night. Stat to know, Prescott leads the NFL in total QBR this season at 90.4 and ranks second in passing touchdowns with 9 behind Patrick Mahomes. The only other Cowboy quarterback with 9 passing TDs through 3 games, Don Meredith in 1966. Prescott is completing an NFL-best 75% of his passes, up from 68% last season, thanks in part to seeing pressure on just 18% of his dropbacks, per NFL Next Gen Stats research. What's to know for fantasy? So far this season, 60.1% of Kamara's points have come as a pass catcher, 65.2% in Week 3, the first game under Bridgewater. Betting nugget, Bridgewater is 13-2 against the spread in his career as an underdog, the best against the spread mark by any quarterback with at least 10 starts as an underdog in the Super Bowl era. New Orleans is the FPI favorite at 55%, but I'm sorry, I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys in this one. Should be a great matchup, high-scoring game. I'm going to go 30-28. Dallas narrowly beats New Orleans in the Dome. Nothing more to say. MF. Saints went into Seattle against the 12th man. No Drew Brees. We thought it was going to be a problem. Teddy Bridgewater said, no problem. I got this.
And I think they're going to do it again. I disagree with you, Anthony. For the first time tonight, we have a fight. And I am going to go with the New Orleans Saints at home to knock off the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas has not played a legitimate contending team until now, and I don't think they can live up to the hype. I know it's a daunting task, and I know it's Teddy Bridgewater. If it was Drew Brees, it was a open and shut case. Bridgewater is a good quarterback. He has proven that he is a winner, no matter what the circumstances is. And yes, I know a year ago, I think Dallas won the game, and it was one of those situations. To me, this is Teddy Bridgewater's moment. And the thing is, as long as he plays it as a game manager, runs the football with Alvin Kamara, throwing it downfield with Michael Thomas. If Thomas goes off, then he's going to have a big game. Plus, they also have some other receivers that we don't talk about, like Ted Ginn Jr. We got some other weapons. And I know Dallas is a great offensive juggernaut, but they're not good when it comes to pressure. And the thing is, what I saw with the Miami Dolphins is Dallas is a beatable team. In the first half, if you punch them in the mouth early, you get them off kilter. The thing is, once the second half comes around, that's when Seattle, New Orleans, you better build up a lead, because second half, Dallas comes out firing. Basically, weather the storm in the second half, you go home with a big win. And I think you're going to do it. They got the necessary weapons that can win the game. I know Teddy Bridgewater is not Drew Brees, but he is proven time and time again to win the games when it matters most. Give me the New Orleans Saints 31-27. New Orleans knocks off Dallas. Bullet, go.
Yeah, Dallas is too good right now. It was great for Teddy Bridgewater to play as well as he did, but he's going to be facing a good team in the Dallas Cowboys, so it'll be interesting to see how this all goes. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to win this one. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
And the final game of the week, Monday Night Football on ESPN. You can make an argument. This was the other game I was thinking about as the Zonk game of the week, along with the Chargers and the Dolphins on our side. A pair of 0-3 teams. The Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Joe Tessitore, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters will have it. Steelers, Pittsburgh opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 62-35. They have won 8 consecutive meetings with the Bengals, including that infamous wild card game a couple of years ago. Last year, Pittsburgh won narrowly 16-13 at home against the Bengals. Cincinnati hasn't won in Pittsburgh since 2015. That was a 16-10 final that year. So MF, I don't know. Between the Chargers and Dolphins and this game, I don't know which one's the Zonk game of the week.
Yeah, I'll lean more for Miami versus the Chargers as the Zonk game of the week. Pittsburgh, look, the thing is that with Roethlisberger now lost for the season, that really now puts Mason Rudolph in a very tough position. So you kind of have to feel like this is a big opportunity for him. Try to play the best, go from there. Cincinnati is they're just riddled with injuries left and right. Can they survive against a beaten up Pittsburgh team? It's really, you don't know what to expect. It's going to be a tough game either way, but I'm going to openly admit it. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't see how, as much as I might say, I think Pittsburgh's just a little better, and I think they'll get the job done. So nothing more to say. Pittsburgh wins. Bullet, go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said. So Florio, just wrap it up.
Yeah, getting into this, what to watch for. Pittsburgh's offense failed to capitalize on the defense's 5 takeaways last week, but now the Bengals are in a 3-way tie with the 49ers and Dolphins for last place in the league with 8 turnovers through the first 3 weeks. The Steelers will have another opportunity to make more defensive plays Monday night, but it will be up to the offense and quarterback Mason Rudolph to get more than a handful of points out of them. Bold prediction, Pittsburgh will not give up a sack. The Bengals pass rush has been hot and cold this season, and the Steelers have given up only 4 sacks this season. tied for 7th fewest in the NFL and the best of any AFC team. The stat to know, the Steelers' James Conner is averaging 32.3 rushing yards per game this season after averaging almost 75 last season. Over the past 2 seasons, the Steelers are 1-7 when Conner rushes for 60 yards or fewer and 7-0-1 when he rushes for more than that. What to know for fantasy? Andy Dalton ranks 2nd in passing yards this season at 978, and the Steelers have given up the 2nd most passing yards, 908. Betting nugget, Mike Tomlin is 17-6 against the spread in his career against Cincinnati, though Ben Roethlisberger started all of those games. Pittsburgh, the FPI favorite, 65.1%. I'm going with Pittsburgh to win as well, 17-14. Going to be an ugly game. So really nothing more to say on this, except we're going to put the bow on this edition of NFL Friday, the final NFL Friday. When it comes to the Friday night time slot, we're going to be switching nights. Not sure what that night is. I'm leaning more towards Saturday myself, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what Derek and, we're going to have to, figure how all this out because, as you know, starting next Friday night and going forward, Friday night will be the new home of Michael Fletcher and the Cerebral Smack Talk. So, we'll get into all that. So, but anyways, we're going to get into our shout-outs quick. And Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get you started on the shout-outs. And then, of course, I will set up the very, very, very exciting future content. And I do mean exciting.
Oh, yes, it is very exciting. Of course, special shout-out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support all of our shows. Of course, special shout-out to all of our friends from our high school days, to all of our super fans out there, of course to our friends from the group outing, and of course our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12. All of the personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, all the other networks. To our friends from the Road Show, of course. Former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, and of course the 3 current hosts Will, Brendan, and Michaela. So yes, so until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up, talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Orchard Porch style. Bye for now. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Enjoy all the college football and NFL action this weekend. So Florio, take us home.
Yes, we'll do. And this week marks the start of bye weeks in the NFL. 2 teams on bye this week, those teams being the New York Jets and the surprising San Francisco 49ers. Those 2 start the bye weeks, and we go all the way up until the final bye week, which is week 12. And then we don't see full weeks again until Turkey Day in week 13. So keep that in mind. But anywho, special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world, and we do apologize again for being unable to do College Football Thursday last night because of the very serious technical difficulty on our ends. But thankfully, all is right and everything's back up and running as it should be. So praise the Lord for that. So we appreciate your understanding about that. Special shout outs to the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Whitson, Kevin Whitson, and the Whitson family. Our insiders, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh. Our good friend Daniel Luttrell from the UK. All of our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. The crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Alfred Anderson, Rob Parsons. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, who obviously had to leave because of work commitments. And the group outing crew, who we will see on Sunday night. Because, we have a very special group outing planned for Sunday night. It's going to be a blessing, as it always is. When we fellowship, it's always fun. Looking very much looking forward to that.
Flex to be joining us for that.
Yeah, and so many of our boys are going to be there too. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So major shouts to all of you in the group outing crew. You know who you are. We'll see you all on Sunday night. Looking very much forward to it. And And, of course, Derek Ferreira, who puts it all together each and every week. We can't do it without him. And, of course, all of our personalities over at 6, 10, and 12. Our friends over at ESPN, FS1, NFL Network, MLB Network, NHL Network, NBA TV. Of course, Lindsey McCormick and Seda Sorrell, the former, our friends on the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brandon Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, former co-hosts Megan Mooney and Mary Larson. And, of course, last but not least, my dear friends over at Oasis of Grace Ministries over on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 10:30, Sunday morning service. Wednesday nights at 7, Bible study, other things going on. And that's it for that. And next week, premiere week, fun week coming up. We don't know where the football shows will line up, but I will say this, though. We started off on Monday night, immediately following Raw, for Ridiculously Raw, as we will review the season premiere of Monday Night Raw with the brand new announced team, Vic Joseph, Dio Madden, and WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. Cannot wait to get into all that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a great show. So much great action going to be on that show. 3 title matches. It's going to be great. And of course, my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as well. And we will not have a show on Tuesday for what I know. We will then move on to Wednesday Night Mayhem with Derek Ferreira. The premiere of AEW's Wednesday Night Dynamite on TNT. Of course, NXT on USA. We'll get into all that on Wednesday night. I want to say Thursday is College Football Thursday. We'll have to wait and see what Derek and everybody else has to say about that. And then, of course, next Friday night, of course, the premiere of the all-new Friday night edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk with good old MF Michael Fletcher, as we will review the highly anticipated season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown. Maybe we throw in a quick Hell in a Cell preview as well. We'll have to wait and see. And then the NFL show, I say we should move it to Saturday because of my because of the notes that I have. They come out on Friday, so that's just my thought, but we'll have to wait and see. So, and then of course the Hell in a Cell recap the following Sunday. Very exciting content. The fun all starts next week. On behalf of myself, Michael Bullock, Michael Fletcher, Derek Ferreira, and Dede Woodson, we cannot wait to get started on Monday night. It's going to be a lot of fun and very exciting content coming your way starting next week and going forward. Cannot wait. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher. That's Twisted Angel, Dede Woodson, DF from RI401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Butcher 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy all the college football action tomorrow, the NFL action on Sunday. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you have been watching the final NFL Friday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com, also on StreamYard.com as well. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.